Hello everyone and welcome to another game of World of Warships. Today's replay is from Talasomething and he is in the Großer Kurfürst, 10 German battleship. He is on the map hotspot in a 3-point domination game mode and it's a tier 10 battle, obviously, with mostly battleships and destroyers. There are only 2 cruisers and the poor guys aren't even top tier. So, lots of destroyers around. This makes it, I guess, interesting. Now we see here a friendly destroyer sitting in smoke outside of the cap circle while the enemies are capping in peace. This is a little bit weird. Now it's not like even the enemies would have any support. So I'm not sure what this Shimakaze is afraid of. He could go in there and just delay the cap, stop the cap. The smoke here is also really pretty interesting because Shimakaze doesn't have to be afraid of anything here, right? There are no enemy ships who could shoot him other than maybe a destroyer. And it's not like the destroyers could burn him down so quickly and he could still use smoke once he's actually under fire. So friendly destroyer wasted smoke and wasted his time sitting there for no apparent reason and didn't even stop the enemy from capping. Great start! Now the enemies got point A for free, they are getting point Charlie for free, but the friendly team I think is taking the center and there is a massive fleet here who might be able to hold the center. Now the friendly team just have to get point Alpha, which should be pretty easy because there is only 1 destroyer in there and we aren't even sure if he's still in there. Now it looks like the Russian destroyers here are going outside the flank for some flanking maneuvers. Considering the situation and the lack of enemy ships here, I think they could just take the point. Russian destroyers don't have such good concealment, but it's not like they need to be afraid of getting deleted by cruisers. There is a Missouri here, so you gotta be careful of radar, but again, the enemy team has no fire support on this cap whatsoever other than the Missouri, which just now has arrived. Now Talasomething so far has been sitting here hoping he could support his team, but his hopes haven't been met because nobody ventured into the capture point. And you don't want to take a Kurfürst into a point like this with destroyers lurking around. There isn't any room to maneuver and he would just get ambushed around an island and probably sunk. So he did the right thing, he just sat here waiting for somebody who would support and now he can engage a Missouri. Which, well, this duel is certainly in his favor, and the Missouri is getting pounded by secondaries as well. Now he also has quite a respectable distance from this island, so he shouldn't be surprised by a destroyer. He hasn't used his hydroacoustics yet. So far, there wasn't really that much need, I guess. He should be able to spot a destroyer coming around here, and in fact he actually does. Now the Fletcher is spotted, he immediately switches his target, he focuses his secondary probably on the Fletcher and now he's using Hydro because he knows torpedoes are coming and he starts to take invasive action. Now let's hope that he can get rid of the Fletcher. He has some support from the friendly ship as well and the Fletcher is down. Now let's see how many torpedoes he can dodge. Meanwhile, the Z-52 is taking the A-cap. I think he was the one who took the P-cap as well. But since no one else seems to be interested, poor Z has to do all himself. And meanwhile, Talasomething is doing a pretty good job at dodging all those torpedoes very nicely. Now there is only the Missouri here remaining. I don't think the Missouri will make it pretty long. So the next job is probably defending the center. Now there's a friendly Missouri coming in this direction. The Missouri should probably also turn around already. There isn't anything here on this left side to fight over. This enemy Missouri should go down momentarily and there he goes. So now the friendlies really wanna be here in the center and meet the enemy onslaught. It's currently looking good. Friendlies are ahead shipwise and pretty soon they will have 1 more capture point. So now it means defend, and Talasomething is heading here towards the center to do exactly that. Now, meanwhile, we can see here Shimakaze, who might be going around here flanking. And the main force of the enemies is here in the north. They have a Shimakaze who might just be poking inside the cap circle. Unfortunately, the friendly team has no friendly ships here in the cap circle. Now, for a friendly Shimakaze, it would be pretty nice to be inside Point Bravo, because he can launch torpedoes at any ship trying to push. So this is essentially where you want your torpedo ships to be here. And keep in mind that you don't really have to be afraid of radar in this matchup. The enemy Missouri is down, they don't have a radar ship there remaining. Well, I guess the Edinburgh could take radar instead of smoke, but nobody actually does that, so should be pretty safe. Now here in the north, friendly destroyers are kind of torpedo screening against the enemy destroyers, I would hope. And the enemy battleships, they seem to go straight for the cap circle, which is probably exactly what they should do. Now, the enemy destroyers aren't going to cap either, I don't really know why, and there seem to be quite a lot of enemy ships left at Point Charlie, which is rather pointless since they have this point, and I think the friendly team spontaneously combusted here, because suddenly the enemy team has a big lead and things are looking pretty desperate here. So there's a friendly Missouri here on the left side who, after they already had Point Alpha, decided to still continue his way towards the zone wall and here towards the north. Seems to be in no hurry to rejoin the battle. And yeah, the friendly Kurfürst here, the center just got taken out as well. He looks like he ran into ground broadside towards the enemy. But hey, Taylor something managed to get rid of one enemy, which is nice. So, what to do next? There's an enemy Kurfürst coming towards the center, but he can't just charge in, right? We know that there is a Shimakaze around here something. There are still enemy destroyers in the north. There could be a lot of destroyers around the cap. And you gotta be careful of torpedoes. So he is using his hydro here. He's probably thinking exactly the same thing. There are most likely a lot of destroyers around. Now he can't stop a destroyer from taking the center, but he could interrupt the Kurfürst currently. Problem is there are a lot of ships coming this direction as well. There is another Kurfürst coming, and there is an Otago, and there's the Edinburgh. Wasn't very lucky with the Edinburgh, he just lost his destroyer support here on this flank as well, which is bad. There are still some torpedoes in the water, so maybe they can do something. And unfortunately, Sherman accuracy strikes again. But it looks like the Shimakaze managed to get the Edinburgh with a torpedo, so that's the good news. Now, he can't just turn around and fight two Kurfürsts and Shimakaze. I mean, we can see smoke here now. That's probably the Shimakaze sitting in there. He can't just charge two Kurfürsts, a Shimakaze, and possibly a Otago there as well on his own. He needs a little bit support here from the north. But maybe he can lure those enemies away and therefore create an opening for his teammates. Now he is focusing the Kurfürst in the cap circle. He can at least interrupt the enemy Kurfürst and hopefully delay the cap. Because you know what? It looks like no enemy destroyer is capped. Since he is so easily able to reset the cap, you know, the Kurfürst's alone in there, which is kind of mind-boggling because what are the two enemy destroyers doing? They could easily take the center cap and therefore most certainly assured the victory of the enemy team. But I guess the enemy team is overconfident and they're just out there to, I don't know, get some more damage in. Now also the two enemies here on the right side, the Kurfürst and the Otago, I'm not exactly sure what their thoughts are. They aren't even directly coming at Taylor something. They aren't trying to take capture points. Those two enemies, they are just contents to sail away towards a zone wall for no apparent reason. I mean, this enemy Kurfürst is actually sailing voluntarily behind an island, so he won't be able to shoot Taylor something. Oh well. So, Meanwhile, Talasomething is holding up pretty nicely. The enemy Kurfürst is desperate, trying to cap, but nobody is helping him. The enemy Kurfürst must be so frustrated. He is trying to do the right thing, but nobody in his team cares. And hey, we found a Shimakaze. Now the Shimakaze was trying to torpedo ambush around this island, it looks like, and he screwed it up. Now the good news is the Shimakaze's torpedo reload is quite long, which gives Talasomething a bit of time to deal with her. And in this case I would focus my fire on the destroyer. One good salvo at this range could delete the Shimakaze and therefore take care of a big problem, while the enemy Kurfürst is just way too healthy. But he can't, I mean, he can do a bit of damage, but not a great angle. So this salvo is rather insignificant, while hitting the Shimakaze could have made a lot of difference, in my opinion. But now he is going for the Shimakaze, so the next salvo will hopefully be ready before the Shimakaze can escape. And the Shimakaze is making a mistake. He's trying to take the corner too close, and he has run into ground. Goodbye. So nicely done. That's one destroyer taken care of, and suddenly it's only 4 against 3. Two enemies are conveniently maneuvering them out of position, and the friendly team controls the majority of the cap zones. Okay, unfortunately the Missouri just got taken out, but this enemy Kurfürst might go down to the next salvo. Let's hope so. Well, it was a decent salvo, but unfortunately the Kurfürst is still floating. So, meanwhile, the Atako is visible again, and the second Kurfürst will probably be visible again soon. And the enemy Kurfürst here is healing and in a pretty good angle, so that's bad news here. Now the friendly destroyer is here and joined forces with Talasomething. They have to work together here in order to win this battle. And now comes the big question, what is he going to shoot next? There is an Atago, which... The Atago might be showing broadside right now. This could be a decent target, but he's at full health. He'd need to get really lucky with his dispersion to do something against that. Or he could go against the battleships. Now this battleship is somewhat showing broadside, so might be a decent target. The other battleship is a bit lower on health, but also angle. And was a good choice, I think. He did some decent damage. Another salvo like this, and the Kurfürst might be going down. But you know what? Plot twist. It looks like the other Kurfürst has managed to maneuver himself in a pretty bad spot. Looks like he ran into ground and is now reversing out of that. He is even lower health. The other Kurfürst is healing as well, so yeah, German dispersion strikes again, but hopefully he can deal with lower Kurfürst here. Now also keep in mind there is still a Shimakaze around and we don't know where he is. He's probably somewhere in the north and he hasn't started capturing the Bravo cap for some reason, so there is an argument to be made for torpedoes. Oh, now he's in a Bravo cap, so there will be torpedoes coming from there. And here they are. So this isn't looking so good. But oh, he just barely avoided them, and he will take no hits. Oh my god, this was amazing. Now there's some serious steering here at work. I was certain that he would take 1 or 2 hits there, but he expertly evaded them all. The secondaries, well, the fire of the secondaries took out 1 Kurfürst, and now let's hope that he can severely damage the other one. There is the Shimakaze. Now the Shimakaze should be on torpedo reload right now. But then again, we don't know what torpedoes he is using when he launched them, what his reload is exactly with Captain Skills, so there will soon be more torpedoes, I suppose. But Hydro is running. And look at that, Kurfürst is showing broadside, and there he goes. Now Taylor's something, he could turn here towards the left or towards the right. I think he was already turning towards the left because he wanted to angle away from the enemy. And now he has to take care that he isn't running into ground, because otherwise he's an easy torpedo target. He's also now currently turning away from the possible source of torpedoes. There's just one problem. The enemies have almost caught up on points and they control two capture zones, so there are still a bit over 3 minutes left, which means the enemies will win this over time if they can just survive. The friendly team has to take a center cap, but while Taylor something managed to expertly avoid another torpedo salvo, he is now on a course where he can't just turn around towards Point Bravo because there is an island in the way. And this ship is big with a big turning circle, so he has to sail all the way around the island and try to get into the center. Now thankfully the friendly destroyer is pretty good and he has realized the situation and he is coming towards the center in order to take the cap. Now the enemy Atago is far enough away that he can't support the destroyer, so the friendly Khabarovsk should be able to take the center, I hope. The enemy Shimakaze would have to get lucky with a torpedo, I think, in order to hold this center. And it looks like the enemy Shimakaze got scared and got spotted, so he is running away. It's also quite late in the game, so it's possible that the enemy is out of smoke, which would certainly help. Now the enemy is in the lead, the friendlies are currently capping. The Khabarovsk could either take out the Shimakaze or capture both would certainly work, or I guess Taylor something could sink the Atago. Problem is the Atago could just silence her guns and drop into concealment and then just keep running away. So if the Atago wants to survive, he will survive and there is nothing they can do about it. So the game will now probably be decided by the friendly destroyer. But surprisingly enough, the friendly destroyer has almost capped, right? And wasn't really intercepted. Okay, looks like he was interrupted now. But I was just saying, it looks like the Shimakaze was really hesitant to use her guns, probably hoping to escape into concealment or something. But, you know, with this is probably a win. Okay, probably is the wrong word. This is almost certainly a win unless the enemies can sneak in a lucky detonation or something. So yeah, let's just speed this up. Let's take a look at the results. Taylor something managed to get 2285 base experience and he played this quite well. Tried to support the A cap in the beginning. Unfortunately there weren't many friendlies who actually wanted to cap, and then he went towards the center where he managed to engage overwhelming odds and prevailed. Now shout out to the Khabarovsk as well, who was crucial in the end at securing that victory. Now, Taylor something earned himself Confederate, Dreadnought, Kraken and High Caliber. He scored 227,000 points of damage and he didn't even get a single citadel in this match. Yeah, dispersion wasn't really in his favor, but he managed to sink 5 ships regardless and score 332 secondary hits. So I hope you enjoyed watching that. And I'll see you guys next time.